Author and the Recess Rookie, a Mark Brown book. This is a chapter book. This is chapter book number 3 in this series. Okay? Author and the Recess Rookie. Chapter 1. Ring! The bell cut sharply through the air at Lakewood Elementary School. As the ringing stopped, Mr. Ratburn calmly finished up writing a math problem on the blackboard in his 3rd grade class. Take a look at this problem, he said. We'll be discussing it when you come back from recess. He paused for a few moments. All right, you may go. Everyone hurried out to the playground. I hate it when he just gives us problems like that, said the brain. It makes it hard to concentrate on recess. Binky stared at him. You mean you're actually going to think about it now? He laughed. Who wants to play kickball? A crowd of kids gathered quickly. I'll be a captain, said Francine. I'll be the other, said Binky. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10, Binky, said Francine. Binky scratched his head. 7. Francine smiled. Nope, close though. So I get to pick first. Let's see. She took out a piece of paper and stared at it. What's that? Asked Binky. Just my list. It reminds me of who's good at what. Come on, Francine. Hurry up, said Buster. Francine frowned. Don't rush me. These things take time. There's a lot to keep in mind. Arthur sighed. Just keep in mind that recess doesn't last forever. All right. I'll take Sue Ellen first. Arthur, said Binky. Buster, Fern, Muffy. They went on picking until only one person was left. Francine looked around. I guess that leaves me with George. George was staring at the ground. Francine clapped her hands. Okay, let's take it to the field. Sue Ellen, take 3rd. George, you're right field. George didn't move. His face was still red from having been picked last. In fact, he wasn't really sure he could claim to have been picked at all. Last was just the only thing left after everyone else was taken. Francine stared at him. Earth to George. Come in, George. You do understand the rules, don't you? George nodded. Maybe I should explain them again. The pitcher rolls the ball to you at home plate. You kick the ball into the field and you run around the bases. If someone catches your kick in the air, you're out. If someone throws the ball at you while you're running and it hits you, you're also out. Get it? George nodded again. Okay, and you know where right field is? Yes, behind Buster. You know, Francine, Great. Then they moved on. As the game started, Francine rolled the ball to Fern, who was up first. This is George, as she re-explains the rules of the game. George was trying to say something. Any ideas of what he may have been trying to say?
I played kickball before.
Okay. Any other?
I played kickball before, but I lost.
Okay, we'll keep going. Fern kicked it slowly toward 3rd base and made it to 1st. The next kicker popped out to Francine, and the 3rd kicked to 2nd to force the out. Then Binky was up. He hit the rolling pitch squarely with his toe. The ball sailed toward right field. Come on, George, yelled Francine. Get under it. George took 2 steps in, then 1 back. Uh-oh, he muttered. The ball landed a few feet in front of him and then bounced over his head. By the time he ran it down, Binky was headed for home. George threw the ball in to Francine. Sorry, he said. You'll get the next one, said Buster. That's right, said Muffy. But Francine said nothing. Nothing at all. Chapter 2. See how fast those chapters go? That's why I said you can do this in one day. Knock, knock. Come in, said Mrs. Krupa, the school nurse. She looked up from her desk to see George standing in the doorway. His face was flushed, and he was shifting his weight from one foot to the other. What can I do for you, George? She asked. Do you want to sit down? I think so. She pointed to the couch and motioned for him to sit down. Let's see. I know recess just ended, so that explains your red cheeks. Since you came in under your own power and you're not limping, I'm ruling out a broken leg. So far, so good. Yes? Miss Krupa came over for a closer look. Any new bumps or lumps, headache or sore throat? George shook his head. But you have come to see me after all. There must be something bothering you. Tell me where it hurts. Well, I'm not sure. The pain moves around. Miss Krupa made a note on her notepad. Moving pain. she repeated. And where does it move around? On your leg, your arm, or where? Yes. Yes, what? It hurts in different places at different times. She made more notes. Different places at different times. Does George do a lot of communicating?
No.
Pretty weird. What about when you play the trumpet? You do play the trumpet, right? Anything then? George shook his head. Oh no, nothing to do with the trumpet. Miss Cooper tapped her nose. Sounds tricky. And when did it start hurting? Well, I noticed it today at recess. I was playing kickball. What position? Right field. Miss Cooper nodded. Ah, yes, I still remember it from my kickball days. You do? She smiled, which tells you something about what a good memory I have. So, was there any particular play when you felt something? No, George said slowly. It's more of an overall feeling. Miss Cooper scratched her chin. I see. She scribbled some more. That could be serious. Really? George tried not to look pleased. Serious enough to get me out of recess? What is going on with George? He's sneaky. Brady.
He doesn't want to be at recess.
He does not want to be at recess.
He wants to do his math work.
What does he want to do?
He doesn't want to play kickball because he doesn't know it.
He's not very good at it. Have y'all ever done that? I'm watching. I'll be watching from now on. Y'all say, I need to go to the nurse for something. I'm going to be watching you like a hawk. All right? That would be serious, said Miss Cooper, but we don't want to start with such a drastic step. Unless, of course, is there some reason you want to get out of recess? George turned redder. Why do you say that? Miss Cooper smiled gently. I've been a school nurse a long time, but never mind. Of course, excusing someone from recess requires a number of tests. George gulped. Tests? Certainly. We need to get to the root of this problem. And with that kind of moving pain you described, it's not always easy. George started to look uncomfortable. Would these tests have needles and lasers? Well, said Miss Cooper, I have to admit the laser probes don't come first. Don't come first, George repeated. You know, maybe we should hold off a little. There's no pain now, and maybe it won't come back. Maybe, said Mrs. Cooper. The human body is full of mysteries. George stood up. Okay then, well, I'll let you know if the pain comes again. I should go back to class now. Thanks, bye. Bye, Miss Cooper said as she watched him go back down the hall.
Aww.
She is really crafty. She's good at figuring out when kids are trying to trick her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are there really tests that she probably has to do?
No.
Needles?
No.
What is she doing to George?
She's scaring him.
The same way he tried to trick her, she's doing the same thing with him. Now, tomorrow, Miss Dixon will start off reading at chapter 3.
Miss Dixon.